yours?
No, mine's not this.
Okay.
You want to put it back in mine or put it back in yours?
I got one. I already got one. How you doing? What is it, a beer here? You guys can get in closer. Right closer.
I thought we were your backdrop. Nice too. I'm not speaking. Thanks. Thanks for the look. There's a mayor from Burton here too.
Where is he at?
Yeah.
What's his name? Come here.
Tell them if you're
Where's Margaret?
Dwayne Haskell.
Are you ready?
Dwayne Haskell.
Okay. You ready? Good. Can you guys hear me well? How about that? Is that better?
Yeah.
Good afternoon and welcome to Flint City Hall for the kickoff of our 2020 census. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge some of the elected officials that's here. I see the Burton Mayor, Dwayne Haskins, is here. He's out there somewhere. He has the same hairstyle as I. I see some clergy members here as well. I see Pastor Flynn here, along with some other people. But we want to welcome all of you guys here inside the city of Flint, and also our interpreter for the day. And your first name one more time.
Sarah.
Sarah's here. Sarah's here. Give Sarah a round of applause for being here. You got to do it like this here. We want to make sure we reach out to all of our community members, whether you be hearing impaired or not. But we're here to formally announce the Complete Count Committee established by my office here in the city of Flint. Being the lead governmental agency inside the city of Flint, it's very important to pair up with our partners to make sure that every resident inside the city of Flint is counted. This is an imperative piece of government work that we have to do. We're about a year behind schedule on this, so we're going to be getting started. We're going to be working hard and fast. The people behind me is a part of a committee that's been established, and you can see a bouquet of human existence behind me from all races, all ethnicities, and all genders, making sure that we can have our hard-to-hearing community members here, as well as non-speaking, English-speaking people here as well. But the census count is very, very important. And I know Margie is getting to me because she wrote all these beautiful words for me, but I'm kind of going off script because this is very important to me and the residents inside the city of Flint. This is emotional for me as well, because it's very important to make sure that every resident inside the city is counted. Right now, we are considered a Tier 1 city. A Tier 1 city is a city that has more than 100,000 residents inside of its parameters. If we slide under a count of 100,000, we become a Tier 2 city. 1 out of 5 in the 2010 census count, people were not counted in the city of Flint. Experts anticipate more to go uncounted. If we don't do our jobs, if we don't do a good job in counting residents inside the city of Flint, we all lose. We all lose together. We all win together, but we definitely all lose together. More than $500 billion, $675 billion from federal allocations throughout our country goes out. We need to make sure we get our fair share of that. Each resident is worth $1,800 per year. The census is only done every 10 years. So that means every resident that's counted is worth $18,000 for essential services, for our roads, infrastructure, food for our young people in school. Those dollars are much needed, especially inside the city of Flint. So our challenge is to make sure that we get to every resident and make sure they understand the importance of being counted. So this is a task not just of this committee that stands behind me, but this is a task of every resident inside the city of Flint. This goal that we have set for ourselves, people don't understand. It's not about if you have an outstanding warrant. It's not about if you're a returning citizen. It's not about if you owe a little bit on your child support. It's not about those things, but it's more importantly about making sure that we get what is owed to this city and this community. Now I get to go back to the script that you wrote for me, Margie. You know, heading up from my office is a great young person. He's my age, that's why I call him young. He's the Deputy Chief of Staff, DeVal Murdoch, along with Anthony Turner. Anthony Turner is also a very well veteran at this. He did some work on the 2000 count, also the 2010 count, and with the help of our philanthropic friends, we have been able to secure his services for this 2020 count. But under the leadership of DeVal Murdoch in my office, he is our point person, as well as the chairperson of this complete count committee. My ex-colleague, city councilman at that time, Brian Nolden, now he's county commissioner. Together, people calls us perfect. They say tall, dark, and handsome, right? Right? He has the tall, he has the dark, and you know I got the handsome. Right? So with that, on a serious note, we definitely we're going to be engaged this process with a humble heart, a generous spirit, and a tenacious activity, making sure that we catch up and do the things that's necessary to count everyone in this community. With no further ado, Commissioner Nolden.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate this. We know that Flint is considered a hard to count community. The work of this committee is to bring awareness to the census and dispel myths and make it easy for the community to complete the census. This year, the census will be online. We'll make sure that we mail and even complete by phone as well. The census is confidential. The information cannot be used against you by any government agency or counted in any way. Not by the FBI, not by the CIA, not by DHS, or not by ICE. The committee will be working hard to reach the community, and we hope that all of you attending today will help us. This is a community effort. Let us work together to get all of us counted. Luckily, we are not working alone. We are working with many partners on the county, state, and national level. To talk more about that, I would like to introduce Sue Peters, Vice President of Community Impact for the Community Foundation of Greater Flint.
Good afternoon. Thank you. The Community Foundation of Greater Flint, like other community foundations across the state of Michigan, have really been working on the census for a while with the Michigan Nonprofit Association. As a census hub for the county, we've been working and taking on a role with local nonprofits who represent the hard-to-count populations. We're mobilizing these nonprofits to get out the count with outreach efforts and have awarded $303,000 in grants to the nonprofits who wanted to partner with us. Some of them are the same, so have many of our grantees and partners in the crowd, so we're glad you could join us. We're also grateful to the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation and to the Ruth Mott Foundation for providing some of the grant dollars to support our work. As part of our work, we created an advisory committee of nonprofits, and it includes about 24 organizations that represent many of the communities that are traditionally hard to count. And again, many of them are here joined with us today. And we are really thrilled that the city is now taking on a leadership role to increase outreach efforts in our community. In fact, it's one of the things I have to report on in my grant report, so thank you. I can now fill in that section. You already heard the numbers of what it takes to get our fair share, so I'm not going to repeat them, but maybe I will. You heard it, $1,800 per person per year is what we stand to lose for a number of those programs that we all know. Head Start, Medicaid, free and reduced lunch, cash assistance, all of those that many of our city residents and county residents need. So being undercounted will deprive Flint and the county from representation and from political representation as well as public resources. So those that have the most to lose, these are immigrants, young children, communities of color, homeless, and many of those populations that are served by our nonprofits. So in Flint, and Tony will definitely tell you this because he told me more than once, but in 2010, our response rate was 79.1%. So through the hard work of the city's Complete Count Committee, working with our local nonprofits and our businesses, we can do better than that, right? Yeah. All right, let's get a complete count for Flint for the Census 2020. If not, that's a lot of money that we're stand to lose. So we are very excited to work with the city and align our efforts with those and to build the trust that we need to do to have a complete count in Flint and Genesee County. Thank you.
Well, at this time, we'll take a few questions as it relates to the 2020 census count, and I'll also ask Tony Turner to come up front, and also DeVal Murdoch to be able to come closer to me, to the microphone, in case I can't answer the question. All right. Any questions?
Is there an opportunity for local people to get jobs counting? Is that something that people can do?
Yes, that is one of the focuses of our partnership, the City of Flint, the M&A Community Foundation, all of our partners that are working with the Community Foundation, and we will be announcing that in the days to come, how we're going to work with not only the United States Department of Commerce Census Bureau, but also with Michigan Work to recruit people from this city, from neighborhoods, because what we want are people from neighborhoods to be working in their neighborhoods, because it's important for people to be familiar with the people that they're working with in order to garner that trust, in order to convey the message that the Census Bureau, the census is confidential, is protected information, and we need everyone to be counted. Thank you.
We know we have several parts of our community that are harder to count, that maybe are homeless or have hit some hard times. How do we go about getting those people counted?
Well, it's going to be a collective effort amongst us all. We cast a big, broad net, trying to make sure that we capture everyone, especially our homeless population. But we'll be working with our shelters, our faith-based community members, and just the general public. So we want to make sure with that wide net that we've cast, that we try to capture as many people in those hard-to-count areas as possible. And that was Mark McGlashan. I worked with him for about 25 years over at Channel 12. And so that's why he keeps asking all the questions. Yeah.
All right, one more question. Go ahead.
Have there already been jobs for you in the census that are hired?
Census workers in our community working. Group quarters has started. We had the listing operation from the Census Bureau that started earlier last year. So we have NARFU coming up, and the United States Census Bureau, Michigan Works, and other partners to recruit even more for the operations that are upcoming. There is a website that's in your press packet, I believe, that you can go to, that you can direct folk to apply for the jobs. Make sure that it's going to ask for credentials, and there's a little test, but we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to work for the census. And this is very important, because you're not only working for the census, you're working for your community. One of the most important operations that the government puts on, that's to count people so that Flint can get its funding. And I just give it to you. The census takers can apply online at 2020census.gov/jobs. That's 2020census.gov/jobs. Thank you.
And as mayor, I'm going to have an executive privilege here, because as I look at the count committee behind me, I see baby boomers, I see Generation Xers, I see a few millennials, but I don't see any echo boomers. I don't see any real young people. So, Mrs. Taylor Flynn, you have just been recruited because you're here. Okay, and that's how we do it. So from toddlers to infants to echo boomers. For our teen population, and we're going to make sure that we're going to have a person in each category that can relate to that audience in which we're trying to recruit. So, DeVal, Tony, you got your new person? Yes, all right. They're on. All right, with that, we're going to close out, and thank you all for your attendance, and God bless you all, and let's go do some good work. Thank you. Mr. Turner. Absolutely.